Welcome back here, ladies and gentlemen, to the Air Crash Investigator. And today I'm going to have a look at aerobatics, the accidents in aerobatics, and what are the common denominators that we normally see there. But before continue, let's just have a look here. We see here we've got SEAMS aviation training, and just look at here, you can do your accident investigation, you can do your full SEAMS training, so just keep that in mind. But yes, aerobatic training very specifically, and I will start off by looking at the different environments. Right, so first of all, we're going to have a look here at the competition aerobatics. And believe me, that's the top end. That is where everybody starts when they do their initial aerobatic training. They go into competition aerobatics in South Africa. Right, then there secondly is the air show aerobatic display. Now you cannot get onto the air show aerobatic display circuit if you haven't graduated to a certain level in normal competition aerobatics. Right, then you've got a display in front of a DAE, who is your display authorizing examiner, and that's the person that's going to see, well, are you presentable? And this will then be presented by the DAE to the DAC, which is the authorizing committee. And there everybody decides whether this person is worthy of continuing onto the aerobatic circuit as far as air shows are concerned. So you can say this is in very high regard. Then air show formation aerobatics, and that is where I've got a little bit of a problem. Because formation aerobatics implies, just from the name, that you're talking about formation flying on the one side and aerobatics flying on the other side. And we're going to talk a bit more about that. Then you've got your private guys that's qualified. They don't do competition aerobatics anymore, but they can do their private aerobatics over in an area where they're allowed to. And then lastly, you've got your private aerobatic guys that are not qualified. Right. In the aerobatic accidents, there's a couple of common denominators. Now, the show solo aerobatics are set there, very harsh maneuvers, and very low above the ground. That's a common factor. Now wait, you will say to me, are you saying that during competitions they don't fly that low? Well, depending on how high you are qualified, but there is a difference that in competition aerobatics there will be a minimum height of, let's say, 1,000 feet that will be adhered to. But at an air show, there the heights can come down, well, you might like to know there's something like a 0-foot competence. Competition aerobatics, very hard, and there is very hard and G stalls. And you know, the interesting thing here is that a lot of times these guys want to stall, they want to snap roll, they want to snap stall, they want to flick it in over, and they really are using the aerodynamics to a very, very different level. Then formation aerobatics, pilots not properly trained in aerobatics, pilots not trained in formation flying. Whoa, let's get that one just out of the way to say that if you want to do formation aerobatics, you must first become an aerobatic pilot. Or you must first become a formation pilot. The fact is that you've got to do basic courses on both of those. And then in the aerobatics, you will step up until you are pretty good at that. In the formation, you will step up to be pretty good at that. Then you combine the two. At this stage of the game, this is not happening. In South Africa, it's not happening. We come and sit close to each other, and then voila, well, we are formation pilots. And everybody is happy. As long as you can stick on the wing, you're okay. Non-qualified pilot practices, and then I want to combine these two. You know, there's this non-qualified. So in the one case, the pilot goes out there and he says, oh, you know, I did a straight roll with my baron. And then everybody goes, and that's good pop talk and stuff like that. And it's absolutely rubbish. Charlie, do you want to say to me you have never looped your pony? No. Why would I, when I can use an aerobatic aircraft for that? Yeah, but I haven't got an aerobatic aircraft. Yes, it's not an aerobatic aircraft. Yeah, but I wanted to feel what it's like. I know you want to feel like that. Get into an aerobatic aircraft that you can feel what it's like. How is it that people can put everybody's lives on the line just because they want to do it? Well, actually, that's an old story. But now you also get those that once they get it right once or twice in the outside, they come back into the circuit, they put people on board, and now the bragging starts. Because I'm this and I'm that, and low at the ground, we do this and everybody feels, and then everybody dies. And who do you keep responsible for the accident and the death? Well, there's nobody to keep responsible because they did. Okay, sorry, getting a little bit overboard there. So let's have a look at I didn't look at the private accidents, okay? More use footage in the aerobatic environment, the professional environment. But the reason is look at the professional environment and see that how they get it wrong. And if you don't stick to the rules, well, you'll see.
Wowee, that's when your balls hang in your eyes. So long shot.
Oh shit, that's a crash.
For him to catch up, he had to tighten up the loop while number one stretched the loop at the top. But then as number one came down from that area, you can see that in the vertical down position, he had to tighten the loop now to get out. And as he tightened, unfortunately, number two didn't react enough, and he ended up inside the slipstream, high G, and the aircraft just departed at that moment in time. All right, now we come to the last part where we have to say, okay, well, what is it that we're leaving us with? So look at the first thing. I've got two very important things, and I'm going to slip over to the lesson plan here, and I'm going to say, look here, only two serious rules. The one is proper training, and the next one is sufficient height to recover. That's it. I'm not just talking about if you do formation aerobatic training, then it's proper formation training, proper aerobatic training, proper combination training, properly train for it. That's first step, not negotiable. All right? So if you wonder why certain people are killing themselves, it's because, well, they didn't follow step one. And then step two is if you're too low, you haven't got right, you cannot recover. Okay, but let's carry on and see what we can actually say about this. Discover everybody by itself is extremely stupid. the most distraught, well, the thing that stressed me the most that I read was somebody wrote there, this is how I taught myself to fly aerobatics. And everybody, this guy could do it himself. And I said, my goodness, how stupid. Everybody has figured this out. Over how many years? It took so many accidents. It took so much blood. And you think that I've got to really admire you because you discovered it on your own 50 years, 60 years after the first people started figuring out how not to die? All right, proper training will always be the point of departure. Apply the rules of the game. A lot of times we say to each other, but he didn't stick to the rules. All right, granted, sometimes we get into places where the rules don't fit anymore. But normally we'll find if we step outside the rules, then we get into a place where the rules do not fit anymore. It's very seldom that we will move into a spot, if we stuck to the rules, that will put us in an environment where there's no rules to be applied. There is the odd ones out. I get it, and I grant that to you, all right? But don't think that is a norm. Hard maneuvering close to the ground is claimed very, very competent pilots. Now here I say something here, and that's just for general use to say, in aerobatics, there is a lot of exercises we lose control. And a lot of times we lose control in a controlled fashion, if you wish. We deliberately tumble the aircraft and the aircraft spins and it does things like it wants to. And then when its energy is spent, we just take over again and we recover and we carry on. Only if there's enough height. So we don't die because the loss of control of the aircraft, because if I did that a few thousand feet above the ground, wouldn't have been a problem. But now that I'm low level, it is a problem because these things take time to take potential energy, put it into kinetic energy, to recover the aircraft from the unusual attitude, to install and make it maneuverable, takes height. Time equals height. All right. Then even most simple aerobatic maneuvers will kill you. Perform according to the long discovered basic applications. We said that already. And now, no matter how great you are not bigger than the game. Do not believe that. Stay in your lane. Well, if you haven't got an aerobatic rating, go and get one. It is just the most magic fun out there. But don't do it on your own, please. Until next time, and stick to the rules.